Hey there, I'm Dan Brisebois, and this is the Farmer Spreadsheet Academy. Today's video is special for two reasons. Number one, this was first filmed as a Facebook Live. Number two, the topic was suggested to me by a number of viewers. So let's anchor some cells.
So in this spreadsheet, we have stuff that's being sold. We have the price it's being sold at. And then we also have what's being sold each week of the season, what has actually been sold at the farmer's market. And you want to find out how much you sold of an item. So we're going to go back to farmer spreadsheet tip. Number one, some product. And we'll see how that works. So we'll highlight the price, and then we're going to highlight what was sold on August 10th, close the parentheses, and we see the amount. Now, if we were to drag this down the line, the first cell makes a lot of sense in terms of sales. That second sounds like a fantastic week at the market, but it doesn't, the math is wrong. So if you click on the formula, you see that rather than multiplying price by what was sold that week, it's just moved the two columns over, and then this moves those two columns over. So back in that first formula, the first range of the price, we want to anchor that. And so we put dollar signs before each part of the range, and now it's anchored. And so when we drag this formula down, it's going to be always the anchored range times the week. So here and here. And so that is what anchoring is used for, is to to lock in the specific data that you want that isn't moving all over the place. There are three ways that you can anchor things. If you put a dollar in front of the letter and the number, you're anchoring to a specific cell or range. If you're anchoring just the number, that's the row that's being anchored. So this is a row. And if you put the dollar sign in front of the letter, you're only anchoring the column. To anchor quickly, there is a shortcut, basically the button F4. So let's say I put in this formula equals B1, which shows the item, shows the text from B1. If I want to anchor it quickly, I press F4, and now it's anchored specifically to the cell. Then it's anchored to the row. Then it's anchored to the column, and then it's not anchored at all. So just flipping through F4 will anchor the cell quickly. So let's look at an example of that. So here's a quick little chart. Maybe this has to do with garlic harvest. So here in the column, we have the weight harvested, and that might be harvested, and then the row here is different prices per pound. So to find out what 100 pounds times $10 a pound would give you, we multiply one and then the other. Now, let's say we drag this over. We already know that's not going to work because it isn't anchored. You can see it's not anchored here. It's multiplying this and that, and then this is multiplying this, and so forth. So to anchor it, we're going to start by anchoring the column, so that's the A, and then anchoring the row. Now, here we are. And then if we pull this down and then drag this down, you can see that the anchor has been applied everywhere. And so this is 300 times $16, 4,800. You can see what's anchored, and that's perfect. Now, one or two things to know about anchoring. If you were to insert a column or a row, the anchored cells are still the same as before. So this is still anchored to this column. If you were to copy this over here and then delete the initial cell, this is that's still anchored to this. And since you deleted the weight, it's gone. However, if you were to cut and paste that value, then in that case, the anchored cell is now in a different column. And that's because you cut it rather than copy before pasting. So that's a few little things to know in how anchoring is going to behave in different scenarios.
And that was anchoring cells. Thanks for watching, And if you have a spreadsheet question, please feel free to send me a message, leave a comment, send me an email, and I'll see what I can do to turn that into another farmer spreadsheet tip.